Floss Tube. I'm Jane.
And I'm Amelia.
And we're here to talk to you about our crafting over the last few months. We've been absent. I think our last video was in about August. My work gets really busy from August through to mid-October, so haven't done a lot of stitching in those months, so it wasn't really worth doing an update. But now my busy time at work's over and I'm back doing some more stitching again. But I did get some things framed and certainly did a lot of purchasing in that time. So we do have a lot to show you today, so let's get going. Today is Sunday,
The 29th of the 11th.
29th of November. It is hot, we're in Sydney. Yesterday I think got to 42 degrees and today they're expecting the same again. And it was already 33 degrees at about 8 o'clock this morning, so it's a hot day here.
It's already 12, so it's going to get really hot from now.
Yeah. So I might start with some of my framed finishes and I'll get Amelia to hold them up.
This is Meta's Choice by
Kathy Barrick or Carriage House Samplings, I can't remember now.
Well, it starts with a K.
Yeah.
I think.
So I'm really happy with how we got this framed. I don't know whether you can see if we just move it in close. It's a blue frame that closely matches the thread, but it's also got some
white outline.
Yeah, that seems to match the fabric as well. So yeah, I'm really pleased with how this one has come out. Then this one, do you want to hold this one up? This one is Away We Ride by Blackbird Designs, and this was my first Blackbird Designs cross stitch that I've ever done. I really loved it. I did this on 36 count weathered shingle and used all the called for colours, and just a fairly plain wooden frame on this one, no mat, and it was great because I had this framed and finished for Halloween. So we had that up in my Halloween display.
You did?
Yeah, on the kitchen sideboard. And the last one I have to show is this one, which is probably my favourite out of these three. This was the Plum Street Sampler retreat piece from last year. So that was my first retreat I ever went on, was November last year. And this was an exclusive design. After the retreat you could buy it through Linen and Threads. What's it called? I don't remember either. It'll probably come to me. It's stitched on 36 count, I think it was beeswax linen.
Wasn't it like Milk and Co something?
No, and it had a different saying up here, and I changed it to Wherever Life Plants You Bloom with Grace. I used all the called for colours, didn't change anything.
Except for that.
Except for the wording, correct. Mostly 1 thread over 2, but there is some over 1 on some, like just some small parts of the flowers and some of the animals. Sorry for the glare, it's just so hot today and I don't want to have all the windows open because my house just gets super hot, so it's not the best lighting today. But that, you know, that gives you a bit of an idea. And if I come in close, hopefully you can see some of the detail on the frame. I don't think it's picking it up very well, but it's kind of got some little sections of it.
Different colours.
Yeah. So that was my other framed piece. Then my finish for the month, did we forget that cardboard again? I think we did.
No, we lost it. I couldn't find it.
Oh, okay, that's all right. I'll just hold it up on this. I finished Frosty Forest at long last. So I haven't got it framed yet, obviously. But this was, I guess, good to work on during my busy time because it's on 32 count star sapphire, so it's a bigger fabric for me to work with when I'm tired and busy at the end of a long day and don't really want to think too much. I think last time you saw it, I had started this one, so I've now finished these two and I've sewn on all the buttons. Do you want to point out what they are and where they are, Millie?
There's a button right there on the first one. I don't think you can see this one, but there's one right there.
Little bird.
Bluebird, and there's another star. Snowflake here. I think that's the chicken.
Yeah.
Right there, the snowman. Acorn, right there. What is that? An owl.
Yeah.
And this, another acorn.
Very good. So I'm hoping to get this framed next weekend, and then it'll probably be a couple of weeks before I get it back. So I'm just maybe going to get to hang it for a small amount of time this Christmas. It's not typically specifically a Christmas cross stitch. It's more for winter themed, but I did want to have it up as part of our Christmas display. So at least I have it finished now. This was one that had caused me some grief where I'd used the wrong white and had to rip a heap out, and then I put it away and didn't work on it for ages. So I'm really glad I got back into it and got it finished because I'm really pleased with how it's turned out and looking forward to getting that framed. So that's all my finishes and framed things to talk about. So I guess I'll move on to talking about what I've been working on. In the last few days I've been working on this one. Just again, I hadn't worked on this for ages, not quite sure why. Do you want to hold up the pattern and say what that is?
Your tired shanty.
This is another Plum Street pattern.
Are you going to make it into a cushion?
Yeah, it's like a drum. They call it a drum finish, and you can use it as to stick your pins in or something.
Can't you open this one?
No. So that's where I'm up to. I think I was having trouble with seeing the whale, which you can see it, but he's not super obvious. And so someone had commented on an Instagram post to go back over, because it's just one thread over two, and they just said to do an extra stitch on when you're crossing back over, and I've done that, and that has certainly made it a lot better. So I'm okay with it now, because when it was just one thread, it was really hard to see the whale, and it still is a little difficult, but certainly much better, and I'm happy enough with that, because certainly in the right light he stands out quite well. So maybe that's why I might have stopped working on it for a while, because I was a bit not 100% happy, but I think that's coming along good now. It'll probably finish the drum. This is the bit that obviously goes around, yes. And then I've got to do a bit on the top and a bit on the bottom, which is why I've got all this extra fabric around here.
On the bottom?
Yeah.
Old Saint Nick, he's...
Sorry, come in so they can see and hear you.
Old Saint Nick, he sails seas. His beard grows long so he won't freeze.
You like that?
Yeah.
So I won't get that finished this year. There's still a fair bit to do. But it's been nice to pick that up and work on it again. So that's that one. And this one I do want to get finished. I don't, for some reason, I just don't love working on it. So I did do a fair chunk this last month. So this is a tablecloth. Do you want to hold one side and I'll hold the other? So we can try and hold it out so they can see the whole thing.
It needs to be ironed.
It does need to be ironed. And So this month just finished, sorry, this last few, yeah, well, it's really been in the last month. I've been working on this side, and I've just got to finish off. I haven't done Santa's beard and face, and then I've got to outline Santa. But I've done everything else along this side. So pretty much done the third side, and I've made a start on the fourth side. Again, just because I was tired one night, did not want to be doing backstitch, so I just did this Christmas tree because it's nice and easy to do. Don't have to think too much. So I'm doing this with 2 threads over 2. I really love how it looks, and but it just, I don't know, I just don't love working on it, so I sort of have to force myself
Is it
to.
like the stitches?
I don't know what it is. It's very loose fabric. It's probably the equivalent to maybe a 14 count Aida perhaps, so much bigger than I'm used to working with now that I do 36 and 40 counts. The back stitching, that doesn't bother me too much, but I don't know. I love how it looks. Oh, I started this ages ago, so I do really want to get this finished. And it'll probably only take me another 2 weeks to completely finish it, so I really should just do it, and then we could use it this Christmas. And that was my plan, was to have this as a sort of centerpiece on our table, and I've got a nice little table-sized Christmas tree that could go up, and yeah, so
You have everything.
I really just got to finish it. And I guess that's how I was feeling with Frosty Forest, is just get it done, and it's always so satisfying, and when you do get something finished. So that was out of this Rico Designs book, which has lots of different patterns in it, and that was in there. So the next one I've been working on, and I have to take it out of the Q-snap to show you. So Amelia can hold up the chart and say what it's called and who it's by.
Oh Joyous Day by Blackbird Designs.
So this pattern I brought this year after market, and just love it. I think it's a really pretty pattern, and after doing Away We Ride, I guess I'm, you know, really into doing Blackbird Designs now, which I hadn't done so many before. I'm stitching this one on 40 count Legacy by Picture This Plus, and this is where I'm up to. I'll try and turn it this way to face the light. So on the top row, I've still got to finish, I've got to put an eyelet stitch inside this flower. There's some motifs I need to do around here, and along here I've got to do a satin stitch border similar to the top. So that top border is satin stitch.
It has triangles on it, doesn't it?
Yeah. And then that would mean the top section is complete. And as you can see, I've skipped down to this middle section. I've still got to fill in some of the windows. I've done a couple, but I've got to do the rest. And then obviously bring the alphabet across. There's another flower pot here and some more letters around here. But I'm bringing the border down at the moment. Sorry, my stuff is not ironed as usual. So yeah, I love working on this. 40 count is obviously a bit trickier to see. But again, I think I've mentioned before, I really love working on this particular fabric. This Legacy fabric is one of my favorites. I love the mottling in the fabric, but it's also quite nice to stitch on. So again, I will not get this finished this year, but I'm probably halfway through this, so I don't think it'll take too long to finish that off. I'm sort of trying not to start any new things at the moment, so we'll see how long that lasts. It's not going to last long, I can tell you that, because of things that I've got coming up, so which I'll talk about in a minute. So then my next one, which is the last one I've been working on, and again I need to take this off the Q-snap, and Amelia will get the pattern out and tell you what it's called.
I just lost. What?
Yeah, get it out and show everybody this one. This is my favourite cross stitch ever, I think.
Jane Fittis.
And who's this by?
Hands across the sea samplers.
Very good. All right, so again, I'll just tilt it this way so we can see the whole thing. So that's how much I've got done. It looks close to finished, and it is close to finished, but I've still got a few things to do, and probably the things that I've got to do are going to take some time because they're the things that I've not done before, or they're over one stitching, which takes some time. So if we look up the top, there's a gap in between the big letters. Can you just point out the gap on the stitching there in between these big letters right in the middle there? Yeah, so I haven't stitched in there, and then you can show them on the pattern what's meant to be in there. So it's like a little
heart flower.
Yeah, and it had some satin stitch in there, and so I just didn't want to do it. I wanted to leave it to the end so that the Q-snap didn't distort it at all. So then coming down, I've kind of done, I think I've done everything up until this point. And then, so we've got Jane Fittis, we've got her name over here. The capital letters and the year is over 2, but the smaller letters are over 1. I want to do my name over this side and the year, and I want to do it the same way. So, you know, I want to just take my time and do that carefully. And then there's meant to be a dog here that's over 1. So again, I want to take my time with that dog. This bird here has stem stitch through here, and I've never done stem stitch before. So again, I want to just take my time and figure out how to do that. Then I've got to put some more initials in there. I think I'm doing my family. I've changed the initials in this to be my family. So I've still got a few more of my family initials to spread throughout here. And then along here, I've done, you can hardly see it, but there's some pink cross stitch triangles. I've got to take them all the way across, and then there's blue satin stitch in between that I've got to do, and then there's grass here, and that grass is called turkey stitch, which I've never done it before, and I'm going to leave it to the very last to do because it's the one that's probably giving me the most anxiety about how to do that stitch. So although it doesn't look like a lot to do, it's just that it's either because it's over 1 or it's a specialty stitch is why I think it's going to take a bit more time to do. So I might this afternoon try and get some of the over 1 stitching done, because that's not hard. I just need to sit in a different spot with the magnifier to be able to do that. I'm stitching mine on 36 count straw weeks. It's quite a dark fabric, so some of the colours are harder to see from a distance, but up close they're quite easy to see, and I'm quite happy with the fabric. I think it's different to what some of my other stitch pieces are on, and you know, most of this is quite bright and quite easy to see on the fabric. So especially the red, I really like how the red shows up on this. I am keen to get this one finished this year, and I think I can, and that's my plan. But I do just want to take my time and make sure that I do a good job of it, because it is my most favourite piece I've ever worked on, and my husband really likes it. I just think because it's so colourful, I think that's what I like about it. So I can highly recommend this one, and after, you know, working on this, I've gotten completely hooked on the Hands Across the Sea samplers, and have a much greater appreciation for, you know, I guess I've kind of gotten really interested in reproduction samplers since doing this one. And I think I showed last time that I've brought the Sarah Brazier one that I haven't started, but I will do that one. And since then I've done some PDF downloads from the Hands Across the Sea website. So I downloaded Jane Hardy, Martha Dawson, and another one, Jane Hearth, I think it is. And I think the two Janes, the Jane Hardy and the Jane Hearth, are reasonably smaller ones, so I should be able to get them done quite quickly. And I had previously done the Jane Marshall by Hands Across the Sea as well, so definitely on a bit of a Hands Across the Sea kick at the moment. Anyway, I'll hand over to Amelia and she can show you what she's been doing.
So we did the nose on this, on the head, and then I think the rest of the head we just have to stuff it.
Yeah, so this is Amelia's making a stuffed unicorn. So I think I think we stitched the nose on. I think you did that, didn't you? And
yeah, maybe.
And then we had to stitch the two head pieces together. Or did I? I might have helped with the nose.
Yeah, because I couldn't do the side bits of it.
I think the nose was quite tricky. So I stitched the nose on for her, and then Amelia has stitched the two. That's what we did. You stitched the two head pieces together. So the next step is what?
Stuffing the head.
Yeah. And then after that, what will you work on?
Making the legs.
Yeah. So she's plodding along with her unicorn.
And also from I think this was my first cross stitch.
Nice and loud.
Type of thing. So it's a wooden owl, and it has holes where you can put the cross stitch bits on, and you can make your pattern on it. And it's a necklace, and it has threads in this packet and the owl bit, so it doesn't if you just have a shirt where it just does that, it doesn't itch or anything to stick on. But I haven't really done that much on it because I did it start of last year, and I've not done it for a while. And another thing I have done, sort of, is started making a purse. If you look at the top, there's a white bit, sort of, right there. Well, it's long stitch for the purse, but it took me a while to actually do it, but I could do the first few bits a bit fast, but sometimes I ask Mum for help, and basically that's all I have done.
Yeah.
This was my first ever cross stitch pattern but not cross stitch, long stitch.
It's what they call tent stitch or half cross. So you don't do the full cross, and we sort of thought that would be easy just to get her used to going up and down without having to do the full cross. So you think you might do some more of that?
Yeah, maybe.
Or the owl, or...
Probably the owl.
Yeah. The owl's nice and easy to see, isn't it?
Mhm. It's got big holes.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about purchases, of which there is a lot, and it's quite embarrassing. Okay.
Cannot see.
Oh, I'll bring him over. You sit down and start talking. So we went away
For a trip to a place in Australia called Barrel, and Mum went to a shop in Barrel and bought a whole bunch of fabric stuff for sewing. So when she makes her next rabbit in like clothes, she's got pre-felt so she doesn't have to go and buy it, but she's got like a lot.
So some of them I'll use to finish some of my cross stitches, like make little pillows and stuff, and others I'll use
For sewing.
Yeah, so a few videos back I had made a felt rabbit, so I can use some of it to make clothes or whatever there. So some of them are Christmassy that I'll use on my cross stitch finishes.
Some of them are, most of them have flowers. She's got like...
This is like a bit of an Australian Christmas one that I liked.
She's got more like a winter theme one here as well that I made her buy.
That's a nice one, yeah. Sorry, the light is so bad.
These are blue, okay.
And so what did you get?
So at the shop where we went, I saw a felt that I liked, and Mum said she might get it for me. And then the lady heard us talking about it, so she gave me a pre-cut piece of felt. It's got flowers on it, and
So it's double-sided.
so one side is blue and the other side's pink.
So she can choose like which side she wants to use to do what. So we've been talking about some different ideas, but we haven't really decided what we're going to use it for yet, have we?
No, and I don't remember the ideas because I never remember I had this thing.
All right, so I guess we'll try and talk quickly about some of my purchases. I had this brilliant idea that I could stitch lots of, I'll just try and open these actually. I think we probably should have done that.
I knew it. You know what? You talk, I'll do it.
Does that help? I think that makes it worse. Yeah, we'll give it a go. We'll see. I don't know whether that makes it better or worse. So anyway, I had this brilliant idea that I could do all the samplers that were done by a girl named Jane. So I've already completed Jane Marshall, and I'm doing Jane Fitters. So I've brought Jane Hardy and I've brought Jane Hearth, and I saw this one by Reflet de Soie, which is Jane Jones. And I'm not going to buy it if it's Jane and I don't like the pattern. But I did like this one because it's quite soft colours. And I haven't seen anyone do this. I'm sure there's heaps of people who have, but I've not seen this one before. And I don't often like sometimes on the samplers they've got big verses and stuff like that, and I don't really like those, and often I'll change the verse anyway, whereas this one didn't. It just had her name, so I don't have to think or do anything with that. So I've brought the threads, and I did buy some fabric to do it on, which was 40 count light mocha, which would be lovely, but then in my fabric stash I had this, which is 36 count tea set, which is a bit more grey. I thought that might look nice because it's got sort of a lot of blues, and so I'm sort of almost thinking I might use this for this particular one.
You need my artistic taste.
And I've learnt now because often I would buy patterns and not buy fabric and not buy threads, and what I've learnt is then suddenly you want to stitch it and you can't because you don't have all the things. So now when I buy a pattern, I'm buying the fabric and I'm buying the threads at the same time. Maybe open that one. Do you mind? Another one I purchased. So this was all from the Cruel Gobelin in Sydney. Amelia and I went there a few weekends ago and purchased all these. So I also got this one, which is the Smith sampler by the Scarlet House. Again, this is one that I've wanted for years, and when we were at the shop I was tossing up between this and a couple of other samplers, and Amelia, I said, look, I can't get all of them, so she said get this one. She liked this one the best. So again, I purchased the threads. I just did DMC because I've not used silk before. So I purchased all the threads in DMC, and Amelia helped me pick the colour fabric, which is this one, and that is Newcastle Platinum, 40 count. And I'm definitely going to use that on this. I'm not going to swap it out for something else in my stash because I think that's a pretty good match for that pattern. Oh, this one I have loved for years. So this one I had ordered from, I think I ordered this from Traditional Stitches, which is Lucy Snooshall, by Samplers Remembered. Again, one that I've loved for years, wanted for years. Beautiful red house, lovely colours in the sampler. And I actually like the wording on this one, so I wouldn't change it. So I brought the pattern from Traditional Stitches, but I went and got all the threads from the Cruel Gobelin when I was there, and the fabric is from my stash. So really keen to start that one. So come here. I should be getting you to hold them up.
Well, your stuff is in the way, so I had to move to the
This one I ordered from the Country Sampler. Do you want to say what that one is? Hold it up and I'll help.
Jane Plenderleith.
Jane Plenderleith, 1838. I've seen people stitch and finish this one, and I love it. It's a Jane sampler. It's got a red house, beautiful colours. So I had to get this. Absolutely gorgeous. This came after our visit to the Cruel Gobelin, so I don't have any of the fabric or threads for this one yet. This would be one that I'd be very keen to start soon, but I can't because I don't have the fabric or threads. This one I also ordered from a Country Sampler. Don't have fabric or threads for this either. Because it's coming from the US, I just try to, buy the fabric and threads in Australia if I can.
This is Jane Steenwick's.
Another red house.
Oh, you are literally addicted to red house. But we have an orange house.
Another Jane. It's perfect. So this one's by Samplers Revisited, and this is 1843. I don't think that one would take that long to do. What do you think?
Not if you worked on it if you worked like a small bit of it and then just each day and then you just went to another one and maybe you could get it done.
Maybe. This one I had been eyeing off for a very long time, and I did a big order through Shakespeare's Peddler earlier this year, right just when lockdown happened, and so all the shipping was really delayed. I think it took about 4 months for my fabric to arrive, and I was kicking myself then that I didn't include this in my order because, you know, I sort of thought, oh, I'll just do a fabric order and then, you know, maybe in a few months' time I'll go back and order some patterns. And by the time I did that, I think she had closed down her overseas shipping because she was just having so many problems with people not getting their stuff, or not that they weren't getting it, they got it, it just took so long. Now, she's probably got that up and running again, I don't know, I haven't checked, but when I was at the Cruel Gobelin, they had this pattern, so I just grabbed it from there. So, do you want to hold this one up? Nice and close.
Maria Finney.
So this is by Shakespeare's Peddler, and I've loved this one for such a long time. And I was thinking, so I got all the, all the threads while I was at the Cruel Gobelin, but I had this. This was actually one of the fabrics that I did order from Shakespeare's Peddler, and I kind of thought maybe I will do it on that. I know it's it's obviously completely different to what the model was done on, but I'm wondering if that might look nice. What's your thoughts? Or do you think I should go with?
I think the white will stand out.
Yeah, the white on this. Yeah.
But is there like any dark colours on it? Like the border's pretty dark.
Yeah.
Maybe switch it to a lighter green.
So that's my thoughts. Haven't 100% decided. This one came from a country sampler as well. And I'm pretty keen to start this one. What's this one called?
It is called Dutch Steps Duo.
Dutch Steps Duo. So I think, I'm not 100% sure, but GGR and Needlework Press put out a, one of these each year where it's got a GGR design and then it's got a Needlework Press. So I'm probably going to do both of these because I love both of them, but I'll do this one first. It's hard to see because this picture, so this is the GGR design and this is the original sampler, and the Needlework Press one is that one. And I think the Dutch part is typically to do with these stepped houses or anything with sort of steps in it. So I'm keen, as I mentioned, to do this, and I do have the threads and the fabric. So the called for fabric is Weeks Dye Works Beige, but the threads are quite bright. Like the blue thread is like a really bright blue. The red I like, but I think I'm going to change the colours because I'm not too keen on the blue. So yes, I've got the threads, but I think I'm going to just change it up as I work on it. But I am probably going to definitely use that Weeks Dye Works fabric. I was going to use something different, but I'm now going to use that on this one. This is my last purchase.
Like out of
we don't need to count.
6.
So this one was from a country sampler as well. Do you want to hold this one up? This is Mary Miller, I think it is.
It is Mary Miller 1842 mum.
By the Scarlet House. Again, I saw this around the time of market, I think. It was, I think it was on one of the attic floss tubes. Just love the house. It's such a different colour, that mustard coloured house, and I love the horse. Again, I'll probably change the wording on this, or I could even just completely leave the wording out and just make it shorter. I'm not sure what I'll do here. I did, because I think, and I'll have to read this again, but I think this is an American reproduction sampler. So I was trying to look for like an American poet or something so that I could put, change the wording. And I did find a poem and some wording that I liked, but I'd have to chart it over one. So I was kind of like, do I want to do that? I don't know. So this one I am really keen to start because I love the colours in this. I think they're just gorgeous. And the fabric I thought of using for this one is this. I don't know whether you can see, but it's it's grey.
And then it has some like, what's it called, baby pink on it.
Amelia, it's got like yellow splotches through it. It's called sand or something? Grey sand. There you go. So I don't know whether that yellow is showing up, but I thought that would look quite good with the yellows or the mustard and the blues in the chart. I do need to get the threads for this though, so I either have to make a trip back out to the Cruel Goblin, or else I just have to put this one on hold. So to quickly wrap up, because this has gone for quite some time,
Almost an hour.
plans are to finish Jane Fitters and to finish the tablecloth. I think I can get those done by the end of the year. What are your plans?
This.
Ah, the unicorn. Do you think you'll get him finished by the end of the year, or are you just going to keep working on him?
I think I'll probably get the stuffed and 2 legs.
Okay, that's a good idea. Next weekend, so we were supposed to, and when I say we, I mean me, was supposed to be going on the Plum Street Sampler Retreat again this year, which was supposed to be last weekend. But of course, with COVID, that was all cancelled. So our pattern is getting shipped to us this week coming. And next weekend, which is around the 5th of December, I think, we're doing like a virtual sort of meet-up and stitch along. So I probably will have a new start, because I'll probably start whatever we get for the...
So you're going to sit on your computer for like 2 days?
No, I won't sit on there for 2 days, but I certainly want to join in for some of the chats and things like that. So I think that will be a new start that will happen. Which reminds me, where's my other one? Oh, it's fallen. Could you run around and pick that up for me? See, I was really trying not to do any new starts before the end of the year and actually just get some of these other ones finished. But I have to start the retreat piece, don't I? And thank you, Amelia. This one I ordered as well because, and I've probably shown this, oh, maybe I haven't shown it. I don't know whether it had arrived.
No, you have not shown it.
So this is Anne Morrison, and there's a stitch along starting next weekend for this as well. So this was from Traditional Stitches, their 20th anniversary exclusive design by Hands Across the Sea. So you can only get this from Traditional Stitches. They've had a huge uptake in people ordering the kit and joining the stitch along, but I'm sure I heard that they've still got some of these patterns left. I actually don't think this is going to take too long. The stitch along has divided it into 12 sections, so you can just follow that and do it, you know, each section per month, and then you'd have it finished by December next year. So I may choose to just do that and work on it as per the stitch along, or I might just go ahead and do my own thing. So I got the thread and the fabric from Traditional Stitches because I've ordered from them quite a few times, and they're very great and easy to work with. So I just figured, you know what, I'm going to order the whole lot from them. So I got 37 count Russian tea cake as my fabric.
Mum,
Yeah?
got an idea. Don't speak for too long because we don't want the poor people to wait an hour to watch their second one, okay?
Okay. I'm almost finished. I'm getting told to hurry up here. And I ordered the DMCs because I've never stitched with silks before. And I think the DMCs are lovely anyway. So I think that's going to look great. So I think that's going to be a definite start in the next month. So if I do start this, and I do start the Plum Street Sampler Retreat piece, and work on Jane Fitters and my tablecloth, that will see me out for the rest of this year. And maybe we will come back, maybe we'll do a video after Christmas.
Just before we go?
Yeah, because we're going to go away after Christmas. So we might come back after Christmas, give you an update on what we did, and maybe talk about our plans for the new year and what we plan on stitching for then. Really sorry about the lighting. As I said, it's not very bright today, but hopefully you got to see everything reasonably clear. Did you have anything you wanted to say? They can't see you again, love.
Hi.
So we might do some Christmas decorating today because we haven't got our tree up yet.
Christmas.
Yeah. And we'll definitely be staying inside and keeping
Can
cool.
we listen to some Christmas music?
I think that's a great idea.
And then we can watch a Christmas movie.
Sounds awesome. Sounds like a perfect day. Thank you for watching. Sorry it's been so long between videos. But yeah, thanks for watching. Thank you for subscribing if you've subscribed. And please leave comments. And we hope you visit with us again soon. Bye.
Bye.